Hi folks, welcome to this homepage design video updated for 2026. As we know, Substack are always making glorious changes for us, and I thought it's about time that I made another video to help you guys to organize your Substack homepage, also known as your Substack website. If you don't know me, I am Claire Venus. It's lovely to meet you. I am an engagement consultant, mentor, and Substack expert. I've been teaching about the platform since 2023, and I've been using the platform since 2022. So I'm a good few years in. I host both a paid newsletter and a membership and community. So I've got two very different setups for my home pages for those spaces for reasons that I'll go into. What I'm going to do is talk you through the most simplistic setup to start with, which I have on my paid newsletter. I've tried all sorts of different ways with it over the years, but it is my belief that this is the clearest way to help people understand who you are, what you write about, what is on offer within your Substack publication. There's also some really beautiful filters that you can apply to the way that you see in this website. I know people can get confused around, is it my new online home? Is it social media? Is it like a website? Do I need a website as well? Should I write a blog? And all of that sort of stuff I cover inside of the community calls inside of Sparkle on Substack. You'd be so welcome to join us if you wanted to, but try not to get overwhelmed, because the more you write and the more you organize your page, the more it meets your audience where they're at and the more sense it makes, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to dive on in and I will share my screen. We're going to go to my paid newsletter first. So before we do that, I just want to talk for just a second about this bio. So I have multiple newsletters on Substack. Would not recommend, you do not need to do that, but I do that. And there are some nuanced reasons as to why. But inside of my bio, you'll see that I've got my newsletters listed and published here. If you get someone to check and someone can't click on these, you haven't published your Substack website. I've known people to write for over a year without having a Substack website, without having a Substack homepage. Everything sits inside of activity. So this was the post I did yesterday, and this is a note that I've just done today. So you might think that you are publishing on Substack, and you are, but you're not publishing for the full potential. So you'll need to get somebody else to click. If you try it from the app, they should be able to click on this. Just double check whether they can. Inside of the post that accompanies this video, I show you what you need to do. Now, I'll just say Substack do change this a lot. Like, in my opinion, a lot. It's changed 3 or 4 times since I last updated a video about it. So hopefully it's obvious. Hopefully it makes sense. Have a look back in the post and I'll try and keep that one updated for you. So you've got your bio, you've got this lovely tab here, which you can make way more of than I have if you want to. I keep it generic because I am all about a calm nervous system, so I don't want to, put too many instructions and too many things in for people. Sometimes I'll add a little note, like when I was pushing my 2026 Substack journal for people to download for free. I had a little note in there. But for the most part, I just like it to be an image and then obviously a photo of me. Then we've got a little bio piece here. I have other videos on the best way to think about the bio and the best way to use the character count that we have, whilst also thinking about being inviting to an audience. So think of the blend of the personal and the professional, less a LinkedIn sort of accolade type bio and more invitational bio. That's how I teach it and do it. So if we were to go into any of these publications, that is our Substack website where the homepage sits. So if we press into Sparkle on Substack, you'll see this is my Substack teaching space membership. I do have a newsletter that goes out as well. So it's usually based around a tutorial like this. So I do work in service to my free subscribers as well as host 2 tiers of a membership inside of here. So that's that one. And then if we click into this one, this is my paid newsletter. So this is what I was saying in terms of diving into keeping things super, super clear and really easy for the person to understand what is the invite. So always asking, what is the invite here? So you can have a navigation bar at the top here with tons and tons and tons of different things to click. I don't recommend that. There are loads of approaches to it. You could have a start here button. You could have welcome/contents page like I do. You can have contents page. The podcast we can't remove. The archive you can toggle off if you want to, but again, I don't recommend it because people like to see posts in chronological order and that gives them that that. So if they click into that, then they can see everything that I've been posting recently. And then we've got our about page there as well. So this for me is the most simplistic navigation bar that I could have, where I am making it really clear what people are to do. Now, I don't have a hero post on this publication. I could do, but what I really like doing is, because I'm a passionate multi-hyphen, is I like inviting people into different things and just seeing how that goes. So I like having a pinned post at the top. So this isn't the latest. This is a post that I've pinned. And so the way that you do that is you go into the post and then you press this little button here and then it'll say pin. So I've unpinned it there. So when I go back onto this page, it should refresh unless it wants me to pin another one. Yeah, so now it's going to put the most recent post that I've got. So it's fine to keep that there. I'll keep that there now. That's fine. But if I did want to go back to the book invite, telling people about my 12 chapters club, all of that sort of stuff, then I could always pin that. There are some layouts that you can use where you can pin multiple posts, but remember, if you're doing that, it can affect subscriber flow because people are like, wait, which one, so if you're inviting people in and saying start here, but you're also saying here's my menu, that's just confusing. So it's confusing for the brain. People don't know. For me, people will either click this because they're interested or they'll click this. As this is a paid post, it's not necessarily the best one to have pinned because for the most part, there's 3,800 readers here. And then the paid community is smaller, so it's like 90, I think, at the moment. And so it means that the paid community feel really invited and they can find what they need, but the free community don't. And so I'd be much more likely to pin this one. So this was my January presents post because it's for everyone and it links thematically to everything. So be really careful about having something pinned that is for paid subscribers only, because although it could be enticing to one or two people, it's probably just going to put off your free readers that maybe haven't had enough time to get to know you or are just there to support your work and don't want to pay and, for whatever reason. So let's put that one on the pinned position. Okay, so we can do that from here and that feels really good. When we scroll down, you'll see that we've got these little subscriber invites, so we can edit those. I'll show you how to do that. And then I've got some tags and some sections set up. So when you see the big text here, this is a section or a tag that I've set up in the back office. So this goes on down into recent posts and then down at the bottom there, just reminding people about the flavor, the essence of the newsletter, and a little word mark at the bottom. So this is your word mark here. This is your navigation bar. This you can change in terms of layout if you want to. And then obviously you can design how deep a scroll you want people to do. You can have these subscription buttons. There's so many different ways. I've also got my recommendations pulled through there, which I really like. And then it's showing that I've got two different newsletters, which is factually, it's not really correct because I'm not doing much with this guest post series at the minute, but it's fine for it to be on there for now. So if I take you into the back office, here is the back office. So we go into looking at the dashboard for this newsletter. And so where we want to be is in branding. So you scroll down to branding. And this gets you into the edit suite for this newsletter. So if there's anything that we want to do and change, it's really good because you can see the previews. So you can be thinking about what it looks like for you and thinking about your audience without having to send anything live. And also, if you do make a mistake, it's fine. You've done it and you can undo it. It's really, really easy to change. So this is where you would upload your logo. So for the logo space, I've got a photo of me looking out to sea in the camper van. Obviously, you can't see my face in that, but for me, because I've got a really strong profile picture, I just think that's fine. And it's like a creative choice that you can make. So that's there. And then your colors you could change here. So I have got colors that I also use on my website. So that brand pulls through from my website, which is also called Creatively Conscious, the name of my company. So that all pulls through and that's part of the same cohesive brand. And then you can change your typography as well. So you can change the header font if you want to, which is a new feature that Substack have given us. I think I'll just put it in that. And then I've got classic serif. You can have coloured links or underlined links. So I like coloured links because I like a splash of pink. And then the save button, just in case my video is covering it, is top right. So I'm just going to press the save button because sometimes my video is covering that. So then we go down into the header, okay? So this is where if you are a Substack bestseller, you will have a different view here than people who aren't. So if you have over 101 paid subscribers, you should have this. But if you haven't, then you won't. So when you are looking at what you want to do here, they're just giving you the options to play around with it. And confusingly, it's not the logo, it's the word mark. Maybe they couldn't fit word mark in, but basically that is what's changing here. So that's what's moving along. The style you can have as the hamburger. So you see how it changes there. So you could have that so it's not on the navigation bar. I don't have that because I just feel we've just got used to the navigation bar being where it is, and I like the buttons because it makes it stand out a bit more. But again, it's personal preference, so you can change those things there. I'll save that, make sure I've not done anything bonkers. And then when you go into homepage, so this is where you can change the layout, okay? So there are all of these different layouts that you can choose. So you can decide what you want to do. I'm pretty sure, is it magazine where I think it's this one where you can pin more than one. Now, this wouldn't be a great layout for me because can you see how everything's paywalled? So somebody new would look at that and be like, well, there's only one thing that I can read. Like she mustn't do that much for free subscribers. So I would want to be addressing the balance of that. So I'll keep it in feature, media feature, which is the one that I like. I am hiding my top posts because if I put them through, I'll show you these are so old and they're all to do with Substack. So I don't want people to be confused. I don't write about Substack on this publication. I did for a little time and then I birthed a brand new publication. So I don't have that toggled on. So I've got the advanced layout here. So advanced is ticked here. And in advanced layout, it's not that easy to navigate like how to organize it. You do have to do a little bit of thinking about it. But essentially the sections are where you can add your tags and your sections. So the word section is repeated there. So sections and tags are two completely separate things, but you can have both of them pulled through on your home page. So after this top bit here, where it says feature, so if I click on feature and show you, see how the tag is abundance and gratitude. So every time I write a post about abundance and gratitude, I tag it abundance and gratitude. And that means that those posts are collected within this specific area and then it pulls through. So I can go back to that. And that I can change it, right? If I wanted to change it and decide to put a different thing in there. Well, I'm not going to do that at the minute. Then the subscribe button, right? So this is this one. So I've decided after I've shared some abundance and gratitude, people have had a free post, they've had the welcome page. If they're still scrolling on down, let's remind them that they can subscribe. Okay, so weekly posts from the Northumberland coast in the UK. Super simple and easy for people to understand. Okay, Claire lives on the Northumberland coast. She is immersed in writing about lifestyle there. She's going to write weekly. So they don't actually write weekly at the moment, so I might change that. But yeah, something that entices people to feel like, yeah, this is the place for me. I want to receive those posts. And then I've gone for a grid layout in Wholehearted Living. So again, this gets a bit complicated because can you see that I've added modules at the side? So I've just done this really so you guys can see what's possible, but you can have your tag, which my tag is Wholehearted Living, and then you can have a module at the side here. So I've got the recommendations thing there, which I could take off. I could also have my contributors, my podcast, my top posts. I can have different things here. So you can play around with what you like there, but I'm going to leave that as it is. And then if I go to my next grid, so now I'm in this one. So it helps to just sort of go, okay, which one have I gone into? So I'm in Notes from the Sea. So this is a newsletter within my newsletter. So it's a section this one. And the reason that it's a section is because I moved it over from MailChimp back in 2022 and I wasn't sure what I was doing with it. So I thought I'll just have it in its own section. So that's why it says newsletters here and then it has notes from the sea and big dreams. I think that is quite confusing for people. So I do think it's one of them, isn't it, where Substack's added so many different things over the years. If we take it back to the first person who's subscribing, really we just want them to subscribe to our publication. So I'll take that off so that it's clearer. So when they see notes from the sea, they're just going to see that that is a collection of posts rather than think, wait, is this a separate thing I'm subscribing to? What is this? So take that off, save that. That's done it. And then where were we up to? This is why I find it confusing. So I'm like, right, where am I at? Here. So self-seed your business and grow. So I led with this last year as a topic for the whole year, talking about wholehearted business, talking about planting multiple seeds and growing multiple income streams. I've taken it further down the page this year because I'm leading with gratitude and abundance this year. So I'm still, obviously, we're only in February, so I'm still feeling into that. And then this will obviously get added to. There'll be more in there as the year goes on. But because there was quite a lot in there, I have left it with 3 rows so people can see how much I wrote about that topic if they do want to dig into that topic, or if they are here and we're expecting that and then we're wondering, well, what's Claire up to? Like, why has she changed things? Then they can have a little look at that. And then the last one, the feature at the bottom, is just recent posts. So again, I don't think anybody's going to be scrolling this far, but it's just another invitation. Like, I just see all of these as an invitation. So my ideal reader would be interested in all of these different things. Some people know me from Notes from the Sea because I used to write that. Well, I started it in 2017, so that's what they're familiar with. And so when I send those newsletters every other month, I invite them into the other parts of what's become, quite a multi-hyphen newsletter now. So that's all that piece in terms of organizing your homepage. When you go back, you can toggle these around. So say if I was like, oh, I'm going to put that feature up there. See, it doesn't make sense to do that, but I can. And put that back again. And then you can add another section. So it gives you the option of what you want to add. So there's the subscribe that you can edit, the feature, the grid, the list, and then they are all linked to any tags or sections that you've set up. So that's how you pull all of these posts through. So every single one of these posts was tagged as Self-Seed Your Business and Grow. Notes from the Sea is its own section. So either of those are fine. The difference between tags and sections, if you see tags as like a collection, and with a section is something that people can opt in and out of. So say if you usually write about caring for horses, but you want to do a new section on doing a home renovation and you're not sure whether people would want to subscribe to that, you can set up a section. You can subscribe everyone or no one. And then if you subscribe everyone, you can teach them how to toggle that section off. If you subscribe no one, then you'll have to teach them to toggle it on. So, it's up to you. And so people do get confused about that, but that's the only reason that you would use a section. It's like a newsletter inside of a newsletter. I like them because you get a little bit of explanatory text at the top. So if I show you, and people don't always do this, but if you view all, then you get this little bit of explanatory text at the top, which you don't get with a tag. So I like them for that reason. And I like that you can have a little logo. You can also have a podcast inside of a section. So if you're thinking about podcasting and you want it to sit separately from your main newsletter, like if it's topic focused, then you can do that. Okay, so that's all that. I'm going to go back. I should say that you can edit your welcome page here as well. So I'm not going to do welcome pages today, but very helpfully you can toggle and edit that if you want to from this position. So I'm going to go back into where we are and click into footer. So the footer, it was hard for me to get this to sort of look how I wanted it to look, and I just ended up sort of abandoning it really. But you can toggle to show your word mark at the bottom there, which I have, and then obviously I've got this 2-column sort of layout thing. I don't think it's that deep. I don't think anyone's getting to the bottom, but with a website we are used to scroll into the bottom to kind of find people's contact links. So maybe that was the the thought there that that could be something helpful. Right, if I just go back, and now I'm going to go into settings at the bottom here, and I'm going to just type in NAV. So this is going to get us to our navigation bar. So the navigation is the strip across the top. And you can see over the years, lots has gone on with that one. But this would be where you could add a link. So you can link out to Instagram, you can link out to your website, you can do any of that sort of stuff. I tend to keep Substack as quite a closed shop. So once I've got people on the page, I want them to do one thing, and that is subscribe. If they're already subscribed, I would want them to read what they want to read. I'm not sending them out into lots of different directions, but it depends on your business setup. So you can toggle archive off there if you want to. You can even toggle your about page off. You can put newsletters on, and then all these are things that I've added, so I could turn them off if I wanted to. But this is my contents page, so it is a Substack page. If I go in to edit it here, sorry, that's going to edit the navigation bar. I just need to, oh, I'll have to do it this way. I'll just go in and find it here and do it that way. Here we go, custom pages. So here it is here. So it's telling me that it's live. I can remove from the navigation bar here, or I can edit it. So if I click into it here, it's going to take me to it. So this is what people see here when they click here. So for me, it's a big long welcome, and then I'll need to update it for 2026, but I'll do that. So yeah, you can see I'm sort of referencing 2025, but this is a place where I'm saying, here's all the resources of classes that I've delivered in the past. Here's all the different projects that I've got going on. And here's my Substack book. If you already know that I teach about Substack, then you might have found your way here. But this is my behind the scenes of my business and wholehearted living publication, where I allow myself a lot of creative self-expression. So if you did want to do a welcome page or a contents page or an A to Z or a library or anything like that, it would be good to do it as a page, and then pin it there. I think it's just really helpful for people to sort of have that overview. So like I said, I do need to go ahead and update that one. Okay, right, let me stop sharing for a second. So I've walked you through how the homepage can be organized and look. That was for a paid newsletter. I'm now going to deep dive into helping your engaged subscribers and paying members navigate resources inside a membership model. So lots of people think that they've got a paid newsletter, and they absolutely haven't. They've got a membership. And the difference is that a paid newsletter is people are paying for written posts. Yes, there might be some elements of community. There might be the odd meetup and things like that, but that's what it is. And that price point is usually, around about $5 a month, 50 for the year, maybe a bit more. When people have a membership and they've got calls and they've got resources and they've got mini courses and they've got all sorts of things, those things typically off platform would be like upwards of $35 a month, even more than that. And people would be committing to a whole year to be inside of the membership. So it'd be done on payment